Hi, and welcome to another capital raising breakdown. Okay, now today we're doing an article with the headline Insurance Tech Startup Rebrands for US Push After Funding Round. Okay, now interesting how it starts out with insurance tech as the headline. Now, once again, obviously the journalist or the reporter in this felt that that was going to be the lead word that would capture most attention from people looking to read this, and obviously mentioning about US push, showing that this insurance tech startup, once again, is another common word to be used, and then the US push was the key for actually capturing attention to this. Now, in the first paragraph, you can see it highlights that Expense Check, a Melbourne-based insurance tech startup, has announced the close of a $4 million capital raise and renamed itself Canopy. Now, as it goes down the article, it helps explain why the rebrand and the rename, as it prepares to expand its products and launch into the US market. Hollard Insurance Company led the raise. Now, it's basically, once again, I'm interested to know that so Hollard is obviously not as well known in the Australian market, but given that they're leading the raise, this is signifying that this is a strategic investment from their part. And then it goes on to highlight, and previous investors include early stage venture capital firm, Folklore Investors, which is previously known as Tempest, and BCG Digital Ventures Asia Pacific head, Paul, so I'm going to get his name wrong, in his personal capacity, so I won't say it because Kaz get it wrong. So what it's saying now, it doesn't articulate in this article whether Folklore followed on in this round, but it just highlights that there are existing investors in it. So really what it's done is firstly, they've started off with the sector. They're focusing on the sector, which is of interest. They're highlighting the push into the US, okay, how that fits in, interesting. But then it goes down to highlight that it's a strategic investment from an existing insurance company. Now, as it sort of goes down, it starts to explain how the reason for the rebrand in an Expense Check was typically focused on expenses. And then what they go and highlight is that after market research, that they found that 90% of their, we went out to our customers and asked, what out of these things that we're solving for you do you know the least about or would have the biggest impact on your lives? And 90% said insurance. Now, it then highlights that Canopy will run as a separate platform to Expense Check, connecting insurers and digital platforms to Canopy. It does go on to describe some other things, describes the reason behind it. It says a forest canopy has a protective impression on it. So this is where they got the inspiration behind the name. Then it goes to highlight where they have their offices. So it's highlighting that this isn't their first move overseas. So I think that's a really good note to make in that. So they do have offices in London. They do have offices in Singapore. So now it makes logical sense to talk about why the actual US push is up there, given that they're already in the UK and they're already in Singapore. It highlights closest competitors, sort of a bit relevant for that. This is what I think is important, this line. Hollard Insurance Chief Executive, Richard Enthoven, said that he wanted to invest strategically in an insurtech business that had strong core technology and a shared vision to create good insurance products using data. Now, for any company out there that's looking to raise capital, sometimes strategic investors are the way to go if there is that opportunity where maybe they can add value to the business in other ways. At a time when insurance is facing huge challenges, technology is simultaneously blurring lines between industries. We identified this as a unique opportunity to use data to create customer fit product and services. So once again, said we've all got different approaches into how we go about our capital raise. What I loved about this article was it was actually a strategic investment. And then the final note, I think this is really important for any founder. To others considering the founder journey life, Mr. Fellows Friedman said the key is to have passion and drive for what you do. Hire the best people that you can and realize that along the journey, nothing is ever as bad or great as you think it is. And it's just such a true thing. People say nothing is ever bad. The other part is nothing is ever as great as what you think it is. There are so many roller coasters in the journey of actually building a business. And, sometimes what you think is great news one day, 6 months or 12 months now, you realize it wasn't as great as what you thought. Likewise, what today you think is really bad news, 6 to 12 months down the track, you may think to yourself, it wasn't as bad as what I thought it was. In fact, it was probably a good thing that situation happened. So, I really like this article. Sort of one of the first breakdowns of these that I've done where it's highlighting a strategic investment. And I suppose to finish this is a good point to ask yourself, who are the relevant strategic investors that could be important for your business? Now, I know for me, I was very lucky to come across Investec, who was looking to invest into us from a strategic perspective. And I've obviously benefited from that over the years. And for a lot of companies, they actually do. It's one of the things that are not really talked about that much. Often the media in Australia is more focused around sort of venture VC investment. This company does have that. As you can see at the top, it mentions some of the existing investors, which are VCs. But sometimes we've seen a lot of great success out of companies that have had strategic investment, and those strategic investors have looked to add value to those companies in other ways than just capital. So hope that helps on the breakdown of Expense Check, now called Canopy, raising $4 million.